You probably may have heard a lot of things, and I don't care what anybody has told you or what anybody is going to tell you, but I'm here to tell you from my own experience the things that you need first. Even some before you start registering as a fashion designer or a tailor in any place, the equipment that you need to buy. And I'm here to tell you the equipment and the tools that you need. There's so many of them in the market, but you don't have to get so many things at the same time. Just the very few that will enable you to learn very well and learn very fast. Okay, so my name is Justice, and this is the Honest Fashion House and Academy. If you've not subscribed to us, to do so, and let's get right into it. So, as a fashion beginner who is going to learn fashion designing, the first thing you need to do, you need to buy, even before you go to that madam place or before you go to fashion school, wherever you want to find yourself, get a good sewing machine. Get a good sewing machine. I don't care if it is industrial machine. I don't care if it is vintage machine. I don't care if it is a tabletop. Whichever one your hand can get to, whichever one that you can buy. The bottom line is get a good sewing machine. This is very, very important, and it is going to help you as you start your journey into fashion designing. Imagine that you go to school, you don't have a pen, you don't have a pencil, you don't have a book, you don't have a textbook, you don't even have a uniform. All you do is go to school and listen to teacher while every other person is working. It's going to be boring, and trust me, you're not going to learn so much. You need books to read in your house. The same thing applies to fashion designing. You need a sewing machine. Imagine going to learn tailoring and you're using 2 weeks to learn how to pedal a sewing machine while your time is going, while other people are doing something else. You're still learning how to pedal the sewing machine. You can save yourself all those wasted time, because I see it as a wasted time. You should have known how to do this even before you go to register. It is not everything that needs to be taught, at least for a start. Buy a sewing machine. Stay in your house. Be the one to motivate yourself. In fact, the sewing machine is going to motivate you to do some certain things. Try to learn how to pedal. Try to learn how to put some things together, even if you don't know what you're doing. This is going to align you into the system. It's going to make you be into it before you start learning. And once you start learning, it's going to motivate you to want to practice even when your teacher is not there with you. Practice, practice, practice. It is what makes for improvement in tailoring. You don't just learn and keep it and then expect that when you go back the next day, you're going to continue from where you stopped. You're just going to keep on repeating the same mistakes over and over again. So try buying a sewing machine even before you start. Whichever one it is that you can buy, it is going to help you a whole lot. Take this from me. Now, the next thing that you need a good scissors. In fact, two pair of scissors is what you need, right? One for papers because you're going to cut papers as a beginner, and one for your fabrics because you're equally going to practice. Now, the one for the fabrics needs to be as sharp as possible. If you're working with a blunt scissors, the frustration is much. Now, adding it to the frustration of learning from the start, you might want to give up. So get a nice scissors that is going to put you in the mood of cutting. But make sure you don't cut the necessary things that shouldn't be cut. So good scissors is a very nice tool for you to get before going to where you're going to learn. The next you need to get is your fabrics. Now get cheap fabrics. There's a difference between cheap fabrics and wrong fabrics. Cheap fabrics and wrong fabrics. You might not even take these fabrics to your shop or to wherever you're learning. These are for you to practice at home. Get cotton fabrics that are cheap, not wrong fabrics that you cannot handle. They are good fabrics, but they are wrong because you're still a learner, right? So get the ones that you can handle, and cotton is one of them. Get it as cheap as possible. It is going to aid you in your practice, especially when you start learning how to sew straight lines, curvy lines, and stuff like that. You need it so well to improve on your sewing. Get good needles. You may need to study which needle matches well with the quality of the fabric that you're sewing, either a lightweight fabric or a heavyweight fabric. There are different needles for different fabrics. So you need to learn this one before buying it so you don't make mistakes. You need a measuring tape. I like this size because it is quite visible. I don't know about your eye, but you need measuring tapes that are visible for you to actually see the markings on the tape and not make a mistake. Any dress can look beautiful, but once the fitting is not given, it is already an off point, and that comes as a result of wrong measurement. So get the measuring tape that will enable you to take accurate measurement, because the lines and the bars are quite visible to you. Mistakes are quite inevitable as a beginner. Even as someone who is a professional, mistakes can happen, and this is very, very important. This is called a seam ripper. Instead of using a razor blade to loosen bad stitches, a seam ripper is the best thing that you can get. You see how the mouth is? This is for losing your seams whenever they go wrong. Whether you're a beginner, whether you're an expert, whether you're a professional, this is the big one and this is the small one. Try to get it as sharp as possible. It's going to help you. It's going to save your fabric. That thing that razor can do to the fabric and cut it unknowingly, this one will not do it. So try and get this. It will help you a lot. Okay. And pins are very, very important. Pins are very, very important for anybody who is into tailoring. So you who is starting, you need it even more to hold fabrics together, to put things together. You need it. Very, very important. Try to get your pins, either the big ones or the small ones, whichever one you can buy. It is very necessary. You need tailor's chalk, either the one that comes like a pen or fabric marker. Yes, there's fabric marker and there's this type tailor's chalk. Please get them in different colors. Also note that there are fabrics that you don't use any kind of color to mark, because sometimes it may be difficult to remove it. Not that it cannot remove, you need to wash it before you remove it. So imagine that you're delivering a garment to someone and then the chalk has stained it, especially if it is white. The chalk has stained it so much. You may not need to wash it to give to that person. That may not be nice. So use colors you know that can easily be removed, or in such a way that it will not show so well. Okay, so using this color for white, you need to be careful, because or using yellow for white, you need to be careful, and also depends on the kind of fabric that you're working with. You need to be careful so you don't stain people's clothes for no reason. You also need your pack of threads, because as a beginner you're going to keep sewing and keep sewing and keep sewing. So get as much colorful threads as possible, or depending on the color of the fabric, because begin now to note that you're using matching thread for each garment that you need to produce. Do not use yellow to sew white. Do not use white to sew black. Your finishing begins at this point. So get matching threads based on the fabric that you're working with. It's going to save you a lot of headache. There are things that needs to be embedded into you, so that when you grow into your sewing career, you don't continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. Begin now to be professional. And you need iron. Iron is very important, very, very important. Anyone you can buy, either the charcoal iron, the electric iron, the gas iron, whichever one that works where you are, get an iron and get a flat surface where you're going to iron. It is very, very important. Very, very important. Sewing without ironing, you've not done a great job. You need to put all of this in place before you can tell yourself that you're not quite ready, you're now quite ready to go into this business of fashion design. And if you're going to go into pattern drafting, you need your pattern paper. Don't try to cut cost in pattern paper. You need as much as possible, either the white paper or the brown paper. Get as many pattern papers as possible. Get your curves in place, rulers, curves. These ones are old because it's been long I bought them. Okay, so try to get yours and so much more. that you're going to learn from your fashion instructor if you're going into pattern drafting, into garment construction. And if you're going into fashion illustration, I am here for you. We have a class on fashion illustration and it's going for just 5,000 naira. So if this is what makes sense to you, I want to wish you well in your fashion journey and also wish that you come back to this channel to get more interesting advices on fashion designing, tailoring that is going to help you as you grow in your fashion journey. My name is Justice and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.